Oh, hello, is that the Bath and Gloucester Building Society?
You are through to Bath and Gloucester.
I'd like to speak to my personal banker, Nigel, please.
This is Nigel speaking.
It's Claire Matthews here.
Oh, good morning, Claire, and how are you today? It is right perishing this morning, no mistake.
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Now look, I've been asking you for months to transfer some money to my ex-husband. I think I spoke to a Derek somebody.
Derek. What a capital fellow. Sadly, he is presently on the other side of the room and therefore uncontactable.
Look, I'd like to speak to whoever's in charge.
You will need to speak to my manager in Norwich. I will put you through. Please to hold.
Hello, this is Colin in head office in Norwich. Come on, the Canaries. I'm looking out of my window and I can see for miles and miles on account of the flat landscape as far as Great Yarmouth, with its endless golden sands and year-round fun for all the family.
Yeah, I want to make a complaint. I just think I'm dealing with a big, impersonal operation and I want to go somewhere smaller. I think I'm going to try the Scottish Promenade. I'm sorry about this, but I have had it up to here.
Oh dear, what a frightful to-do.
Hello, Doogie here at Scottish Promenade. And what a lovely breakfast of the nippies and the tutties have I enjoyed this morning.
India is the 7th largest country in the world and dominates the South Asian continent. It has a land area of approximately 1/3 the size of the US. India is a subcontinent surrounded by the Himalayas to the north, the Bay of Bengal to the east, the Arabian Sea to the west, and the Indian Ocean to the south. India is the second most populous country in the world with 1.14 billion people. The population is growing at a rate of 1.5% annually. The rate of urbanization is increasing, but the population remains predominantly rural. India has 18 official languages, including Hindi and Tamil. Although not an official language, English is widely spoken in both business and as a second language. Hinduism and Islam are the two major religions in India, with 80% of the population practicing Hinduism and 15% of the population practicing Islam. Indian history is very profound. Indians conceived the first spoken language, Sanskrit. They invented the number system as well as the decimal system. Ayurveda was developed in India and is the earliest school of medicine known to humans. Indians built the world's first university in 700 BC. They created the art of navigation and the earliest irrigation system. Up until 1896, India was the only source for diamonds to the rest of the world. In fact, India was the richest country on earth until the time of British invasion in the early 17th century. After more than 2 centuries of British rule, India gained independence on August 15, 1947. India has the largest democracy in the world, and like the US, is divided into 3 branches: the executive, legislative, and judiciary. The legal system is based on English common law. The country is divided into 28 states and 7 union territories. India has a strong military with the 3rd largest standing army force in the world. It has the 4th largest air force as well as the 5th largest navy. India is on its way to becoming an internationally accepted nuclear power through the Indo-US Civilian Nuclear Cooperation Deal. India is ranked 72nd out of 179 countries in the Corruption Perception Index. However, its score has been improving since 2002. Corruption in the government exists in the form of bribes, tax evasion, exchange control, and embezzlement. Since 1994, India has had a surge in economic growth, which is expanding rapidly. The GDP of India is a little over $1 trillion US. India has also experienced over 8% GDP growth rate in the last 4 years. The GDP purchasing power parity is ranked 4th in the world. The currency of India is the rupee, which has an exchange rate of 42 rupee to $1 and is relatively weak against the US dollar. However, the rupee is forecast to strengthen slightly in 2009. as India remains one of the world's fastest growing. The U.S. is India's largest trading partner. Trade between the two countries has doubled in the last 3 years. Zinc, sugar, steel, precious metals, and rubber are the fastest growing Indian exports to the U.S. Leading imports from the U.S. include military products, artwork, and antiques. China is India's leading supplier and its third largest export market. In 2007, India's trade deficit widened due to a greater increase in imports compared to exports. Still, Indian exports are performing strongly. Services and engineering products dominate India's exports. However, exports have increased in products such as minerals, gems, and jewelry. India's government policies are moving toward being open and ready for foreign direct investment. The evolution of FDI in India went through 3 historical phases. First, from 1948 to the mid-1960s, India experienced a time of cautious invitation. After independence, India became eager to be self-reliant and fully independent. India's first industrial policy resolution of 1948 regulated FDIs and kept ownership in the hands of the government. Second, from 1966 to 1979 was the restrictive phase. Strict laws were set reducing all flows of funds from abroad. This caused an erosion of world national competitiveness as India failed to keep up with world globalization. The third and final phase began in 1980. It is known as the period of gradual liberalization. India became more flexible in foreign policies and allowed 100% foreign ownership in export processing zones. Import barriers were lowered for goods and technology licensing controls were loosened. India now permits FDI in almost every sector of its economy. Currently, foreign investment in India is up 51%. U.S. investment in India exceeds $13.6 billion. India is emerging as a global IT superpower with the development of the IT phenomenon. The IT sector has been growing at about 50% every year since the mid-1990s. The Indian software industry is estimated to be worth $1.2 billion. The success can be attributed to the factor advantage of high-quality software, human resources, and a highly skilled labor pool. It is thought that the IT sector thrives because it has minimal reliance on the government. India's economy has found a niche in which it is truly a world player: information technology and IT-enabled services. Back-office outsourcing in India, such as international call centers, data entry, insurance processing, and travel booking, has been growing at an enormous rate of 70% annually. A McKinsey survey found that 203 Fortune 1000 companies had outsourced back-office work to India. According to Export.gov's website, 100 Fortune 500 companies have their research and development facilities located in India. The A.T. Kearney poll estimated that by 2008, U.S. financial services firms intend to move 500,000 jobs offshore and mostly to India. GE, British Airways, Barclays, JP Morgan, ING, and American Express are only a few companies that have outsourced back-office operations to India. Even the World Bank moved its global accounting operations to India. Online tutoring is emerging in India as a new outsourcing market. Moving back-office operations to India saves companies 40% on operation cost. The cost advantages are predicted to last for another 20 years. In business, Indians appreciate punctuality but find it hard to practice themselves. When addressing business partners, use titles and use them correctly. In meetings, building a rapport is very important and generally begin with friendly small talk. During negotiations, trust and well-established relationships should be in place before you do business. Women in business is a new phenomenon. Women interested in doing business in India should use caution. Business lunches are preferred to dinners. However, do not thank the host at the end of the meal. A thank you is considered a form of payment and therefore insulting. By 2020, projections indicate only 10% of the population will be below poverty. By 2020, the Delhi Metro Railway project will be completed. By 2020, 20 to 30 million jobs will be created. By 2020, employment in agriculture will fall below 45%, along with a proportionate rise in service jobs. By 2020, GDP will rise to $3 trillion. If the rate of India's economic growth continues, along with government commitment to increase living standards and develop infrastructure,